Here it seems the smallest hand has the strongest grasp. It is the paradox that lies at the heart of this sport. The youngest, often the most poised, the tiniest, possessing the biggest heart. And then there are these, the exceptions, the exceptional. Svetlana, KERRI, KRISTY. Svetlana Boginskaya, a woman amongst the children. In 1988, she won Olympic gold for the Soviet Union. In 92, she was already more mother than teammate to her sisters. Now 23 years old, ancient, she represents Belarus, yet calls America home. Training under the master craftsman, Bela Karolyi. KERRI STRUG has waited 18 years for her turn. Sharing Boginskaya's dream of one final Olympic appearance. She also shares her coach, the maker of champions. A year ago, Coach Tom Forster seemed destined to win that title for himself, as KRISTY Powell came from nowhere to take the American Cup title. Accomplishment carries pressure, however. Powell struggling last night to earn a spot in this year's American Cup Finals. And today, she is Tom Forster's only hope for a win. KERRI STRUG, for so long lost in the shadow of others, she finally stepped out. And she is the top qualifier for today's championship round.
All right. Oh, that was a good one.
But the night was reserved for gymnastics grand dame. Boginskaya dazzled. Even a major flaw could not dull the luster. Boginskaya now takes another giant step towards the summer's Olympic Games. As does Powell. As does STRUG. And the gymnasts from around the world as they come together today to face the challenge of the American Cup. And we are live at the McDonald's American Cup Gymnastics competition from the Fort Worth Tarrant County Convention Center Arena. Athletes from 23 countries competing this week to bring us today's final, the all-around for men and women. Here are the current men's standings after 3 rotations. 2 Americans up top, John ROETHLISBERGer and JAIR Lynch, very, very close, vying for the lead there. And the women's standings, and look at this, 2 Americans up top, KERRI STRUG, KRISTY Powell, and Svetlana Boginskaya from Belarus right there in it. And we're going to see these 3 competing on the uneven parallel bars in just a few moments here. And I am, as always, joined by Elfie Slegman and Tim Daggett. And we have seen, Elfie, some tremendous performances last night in Svetlana. And here she is for her uneven bars routine.
You know, John, she just wanted to qualify for the all-around competition. Well, she did that and so much more in the prelims. She is simply awesome. Little bit of trouble right there in her transition to the low bar.
5 Olympic medals, 9 World Championship medals. Remember, she was the quintessential beauty of the '92 Olympics in Barcelona. Right there in the red, that's Bela Karolyi, her coach, her new coach. We'll tell you more about that in a few moments. Here comes the dismount.
And it's a big one. Double layout somersault. Oh, and she fights for that win.
And listen closely to that crowd, because we are in America. This lady is from Belarus, but they have really embraced her here as she is in the middle of an incredible comeback. Here she is with Bela.
John, you mentioned the comeback. It is incredible. She has such long lines on this event. It almost appears as if she's working in slow motion. She doesn't do a whole lot of difficulty, at least the daring skills, but what she does so well. She executes, and there's the release skill. Tkachev, very high. And the dismount, it's a new one for her. A double layout, very difficult for a gymnast of this size. Perfect position, and watch her fight for that dismount in the stuck position.
She has been described with names like Queen of Perfection and the Belarusian Swan, the goddess of gymnastics, because part of her last name, Boginya, means goddess in Russia. And we have so many stories to tell you about her, but suffice it to say that she is being trained by the same coach that this next lady who's coming up on even parallel bars is trained by. There she is, KERRI STRUG. It makes you wonder what kind of rivalry there must be in that gym. Bella, of course, coached Nadia right here to the first American Cup Gymnastics win back in 1976. And he coaches Dominic. And I just can't imagine there must be some incredible competition in the gym.
There certainly is. Actually, in this very arena, I talked with Bella before the competition began. This is one of his most special moments. He won the World Championships, the team World Championships, defeating the Soviet Union of that time while he was coaching the Romanians. It was an incredible victory. He says one of his most special moments.
While we wait for the score, KERRI is waiting. Her score 9.662. What do you think, Alfie?
I think it's a high score. She had a little bit of difficulty on the low ball. Remember the body break. She gave away a 10th.
That sets the stage for KERRI STRUG, part of the 95 bronze medal World Championship team. And she has been plagued by some amazing injuries in the last 2 years. Listen to the crowd. She has been a favorite all week.
And John, this is one of her strongest events. The same skills, but I've noticed a big difference in KERRI's gymnastics. Lots of confidence.
Once again, we are live. We have a wireless microphone on Bella, the coach.
Good.
Getting set for her second release skill. Very common at this level of competition. And a dismount that she can do in her sleeve.
Late.
Usually
Very
sticks
late.
it.
That was a pretty one. That was a pretty one. Good job.
How many times have we seen Kim Zemeskel?
That's exactly.
Embrace.
No, good. All right.
The dismount was certainly the highlight of this routine. Very strong throughout. Let's not forget the two release skills, but look at the height. Full twist, no problems whatsoever. She looks for the landing. As I said, she sticks it every single time.
Let's see what the camera pointed at Bella shows us.
Yahoo!
He is the quintessential cheerleader for his gymnasts. First it was Nadia, then Mary Lou, Kim Zemeskel, of course. Dominic Pociano, who we'll hear from live later on in this program. Of course, Bella back in 1992, Tim, retired, saying he had it and took Dominic Pociano and Svetlana Boginska of Belarus to come and say, listen, I want to make a comeback here. Can you come back and help us?
Well, basically, those athletes pulled him out of retirement. He said that if it wasn't for tremendous talents and desires of that nature, he never would have come back.
Since the 1992 games, a 9.812, much better than Boginskaya's 9.665. And, you know, KERRI has had a time of it. I mentioned the injuries from 92. She has bounced around from 6 gyms until she landed back with Bella. And she used to train with this young lady right here, KRISTY Powell.
At Tom and Lori Forster's at the Colorado area in Colorado.
Take a look at this routine. What you'll see here, the difference lies in the release skill. She takes them sky high.
What you're seeing here, too, is the two favorite gymnasts in this arena, back to back to back. KRISTY again, the defending champion here.
Beautiful. Tkachev, only her second competition this year. As you mentioned, John, sidelined with injuries. Looking good. Tough dismount, the same as KERRI STRUG.
It has been widely reported that Bella and Tom and Lori Forster have very different coaching techniques. Bella has been criticized many times, Tim, for being much too rough.
Very nice. Last cast handstand.
Well, very different styles. There's no question about it. Forsters are constantly encouraging. They're tough as well, but maybe a little bit more positive at times. But Bella also, he is behind his athletes, and at a competition, he is right in there pulling, doing everything he can so they can have the best competition.
This is JAIR Lynch, who's preparing for his vault. The youngest member of the U.S. Olympic team in Barcelona. He's from Mountain View, California, 24 years old.
And this is a difficult event for JAIR. He actually can do a very, very difficult vault. He'll do a front handspring somersault with 1.5 twist straight body. Very difficult. Oh. And like I said, John, it is not that easy for JAIR to perform this vault. You saw him step not only backwards, but off the side of the mat. And that's an additional deduction as well, but still a very difficult vault. He's not going to get that back.
University, earning a degree in Science of Civil Engineering, Bachelor of Arts.
5-0, so she's right in between her former teammate STRUG and Svetlana Boginskaya. Real battle. Shaking up between these three. This is Sang Wan from China. A chance to see a very, very tiny gymnast and a young one as well at 14 years old. She won the junior national title on the vault. Chinese are really expected to challenge the best in Atlanta this year. Back in Barcelona, Elfie, they were 4th. The Worlds of '94, they were 4th. In the Worlds of '95, moved up to 2nd.
John, they made a huge impression in Japan at the World Championships. This is an event that the Chinese have all but owned. They are great innovators on the uneven bars. And you'll see some incredible swings and release skills from this young gymnast. But first, the one difficulty she's had is her transition from the low bar to the high bar, an area she really needs to work on.
It's so far away for her, Elfie.
But of course, look at the form. Tight legs. Dismount double layout, perfect body position.
Great job. They said coming in that they weren't sure how she would do because she had limited international experience. Oh, 9.375. That is not great for a gentleman who is fighting for the title. We'll see what happens. It is really heating up here in Fort Worth. More of the American Cup Gymnastics in just a moment. It was exactly 20 years ago, a much younger yet no less driven Bella Caroli who brought a young unknown to America for the first time. Her name was Nadia. Nadia Comaneci went on to win the very first American Cup that year. That summer, she rode her legend in Montreal, of course, winning Olympic gold, showing us the first perfect 10, Nadia Comaneci. So a lot of history here in Fort Worth, Texas. Welcome back. I'm John Tesh, along with Elfie Schlegel and Tim Daggett. And boy, these live broadcasts never disappoint me because we have already seen some fireworks over there on the uneven parallel bars. And Elfie, back in 1992, the three of us were sitting there watching Svetlana Boginskaya just rip it up, and now she's already in the middle of a terrific comeback.
23 years old, she's fooling us all. It's hard to believe she's about to get set for her 3rd Olympic Games. You know, John, in women's gymnastics, particularly in the 90s, that's absolutely unheard of, but she is for real. All I can say is sit back and watch this young lady.
The other thing that happened between 1992 and 1996, Tim Daggett, is that everybody, or a lot of people anyway, wrote off KERRI STRUG. She bounced around to 6 different gyms. She had those 3 injuries that I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, but now she seems to be right in it.
Well, you know, John, she has bounced around because she's always felt like she's been in the shadow of somebody else, and this has been a tremendous frustration to KERRI. But, you know, there have been athletes throughout history that have been there to capitalize on another athlete's misfortune. You know, Mosciano and Miller are not here because of injuries, and so KERRI STRUG has an opportunity to capitalize. She's looked better than I've ever seen her look. All she's got to do is go out there and grab it.
And still in the thick of things, of course, is KRISTY Powell. And a bit later on in this broadcast, we'll have a live interview with a lady who was supposed to win it all and who is an odds-on favorite for a gold in Atlanta, Dominique Moceanu. But first, we want to get back to the competition here, and we're going to continue with Alexandra Dobrescu. The uneven bars have already provided some fireworks for us, And a lot of times, Elfie, what happens on this piece of apparatus is that we see a lot of falls, but we haven't seen that so far.
No, excellent routines, high quality, the best that you're going to see come Atlanta time. And also not just the difficult elements, but they're performing them so well. Both Boginskaya, KERRI, STRUG, KRISTY Powell, we've seen some top-notch routines.
Now back to competition. And the second
I really want people to understand, you know, we talked about Boginskaya and trying for participating in 3 Olympic Games. For a woman in this sport, in this day and age, that is absolutely remarkable. It is tremendous. And you know what, the amazing thing is I saw her a couple of years ago, and I myself thought there's no way that she's going to be able to do it. But here in Fort Worth, I have been basically blown away. She's looked incredible.
4 foot 6 inches tall,
beginning the
75
second half of
pounds,
rotation number 4.
15-year-old Alexandra
Bars
DOBRESCU
from
will
Romania,
work out her bar routine.
Dobrescu.
She used to train in Bucharest. And she's moved up to the National Training Center in Deva with her coach, Octavian Balou.
And of course, where she'll be training with all the future Olympians who are hoping to make the 96 team. This is a very typical style of Romanian routines, one release skill. She's a little bit weak on this event, John. I've noticed a little bit of sloppiness, particularly in the leg area. She's going to have to learn to clean up those areas.
Long heritage of great Romanian stars. You mentioned Nadia.
She got through the routine. It wasn't exciting. The release skills could have been a little bit higher. The dismount, although, was the highlight of the routine.
It's called
Her first sport was actually judo, and she had to do that to survive at home. Her brothers are on the Romanian national judo team.
I could have used that when I was growing up as well.
We're still waiting for her score. And while we wait, earlier today, USA Gymnastics awarded the McDonald's Breakthrough to Be Your Best Award. Awards salutes athletes who strive to achieve their best on and off the competition floor. It went to Blaine Wilson and also Dominique Moceanu. Each award winner will receive a $1,000 contribution to their training fund, and both athletes hope the award is their first break as they look ahead to the 1996 Games. Back here live as DOBRESCU waits for her score. The men are coming up, so don't go away. Back here live, John Tesh with Elfie Schlegel and Tim Daggett at the McDonald's American Cup. Taking at KERRI STRUG, who is our current leader, who very rarely, guys, finds herself in this position. Alexandra DOBRESCU, we saw her on the uneven bars. Her score there 9-4-5-0. But the top 3 here are STRUG, KRISTY Powell, and Svetlana Boginskaya. Here is Oksana Chusevitova, who possesses the skills to knock any of them right out of it.
Skills and power together. John, here's another comeback story. After the 92 Olympic Games, I thought she was on the downside. Her gymnastics was rough, to say the least, both in appearance and skill-wise. She really didn't know where she was going, competing for Uzbekistan, but she's back. And believe me, extremely powerful. She could take this event.
And oddly enough, she was part of that gold medal team in Barcelona. And so she was a teammate of Boginskaya's. And she finds herself competing against her for a different country. Of course, because of the breakup. So
what's interesting is this bar routine is almost identical to the one she performed back in 1992, but it's awesome. It's got a lot of the top skills, powerful. That's what she's trying to capitalize on.
She looks like she's doing men's high bar to me, Elfie. I don't know about you.
Inverted giants.
You can certainly tell the difference between the veterans, this being one, and some of the other gymnasts on this apparatus.
Fairly simple dismount.
But you know, that is the first absolutely rock-solid stuck landing we've seen. A pretty good uneven bar routine.
20 years old. She's from Uzbekistan. She was a 1993 World Championship.
She really makes it look so easy. As I said, she's recaptured the form of 92. She's in good condition. One of the contenders, look at the height. Full twist well above the high bar, opens up, and like Tim said, doesn't move an inch.
She lives with her family in Tashkent, which became the capital of Uzbekistan when the country gained independence It was back in 1991. And she's been with the same coach since 7, which really shows there. Now, here is John Roethlisberger, 25 years old from Minneapolis. And he is our current leader. Now, this is a guy, listen to this crowd. This is a guy, the first American since, when was it, back in 1966, to claim 4 U.S. national titles.
And he is a tough cookie, let me tell you. This actually is an event that John just wants to get through, and then he'll move on to the next 2 events.
Well, for all of us, Tim, tell us what that 1 hop means on the landing.
Well, that's going to be at least 1/10, probably 2/10
Graduate of the University of Minnesota and trains there under his father.
I'm not sure that one spot on the map is not this far where you land.
In German.
The women do 2 vaults. They average those 2. The men only get 1. Oh, she is right in there. She's beating a score of 9-7-1-2. So from 1 through 4th place, it is very, very tight. And I believe she moves ahead of her former teammates. This lady, Svetlana Boginskaya. These 2 have been together as teammates, and now they are adversaries. As you look at John Roethlisberger waiting for his score on the ball. Back here live in Fort Worth, and here's a look at the current standing so far here in the American Cup Championship. John Roethlisberger is still up top. He is, again, the defending championship. And JAIR Lynch right on his heels there with a chance to take it at any moment. And the women's standings, you can see that it is a huge fight here between all 5, actually, gymnasts right up there at the top. And I really had thought that the uneven parallel bars would claim somebody, but it hasn't happened, and KERRI STRUG is having a tremendous meet. Let's go down to Beth Buriak on the gym floor.
John, it's a familiar scene. Bela Karolyi walking into the gym with his lineup of gymnasts behind him, lined up in perfect discipline. And in 1992, KERRI STRUG was part of that lineup, a talented but timid gymnast, a young girl, you might say. Well, it's 1996. KERRI STRUG is still here, and she's still with Bela Karolyi, but she has found her own winding and bumpy path to follow him.
When I was first moving to Karolyi's, I was really timid because I was intimidated by Bela and the other girls because I had never been around anyone like that.
The feeling never quite disappeared, but KERRI stayed and became one of Bela's girls. In '92, KERRI was 14 and the youngest member of his bronze medal Olympic team. When Karolyi announced his retirement, though, KERRI was left without a coach. Her journey across the country, gym to gym, had begun. She first went to Brown's Gymnastics in Florida, and then on to Oklahoma to train under Steve Nuno with 2-time world champion Shannon Miller.
Well, I think training with Shannon it had its positive and its down points. You know, it was really positive to have someone to compete against in the gym each day, and we push each other, but it's also hard sometimes when you're right below that person all the time, and you know, you're kind of playing second fiddle. It's tough sometimes.
KERRI decided to leave Oklahoma after tearing a stomach muscle. She went home to Tucson to train, and then this happened. It was time to stay home, to heal and strengthen, and in a few months to compete again, and then to get back on the road again. This time, KERRI went to Colorado to train under Tom and Lori Forrester. She would stay less than 6 months.
No matter what program she went to, you know, every coach knew that it was probably just an interim thing.
Coming back to Karolyi's, I was a little bit nervous and excited at the same time. And Bela, he's changed a little bit. He's more easily to talk. I can talk to him more easily now, and you know, he realized, we talked to them before I came back, saying that I'm 18, I'm not 14 anymore, and he's been really understanding. They've been really supportive, and now, you know, if I have a problem, I can tell them. You know, I feel like I have more control over my gymnastics career right now than I have in the past, so it's good.
Today is a different KERRI, the one who knows I'm prepared, I'm out on the floor, I'm playing for myself, she's enjoying what she's doing. It is just a more mature and it's a more complete athlete.
When I was here in '92 and I'd look at the other, you know, gyms where they were having more fun and weren't so, you know, serious, I'd be like, oh, I wish I was there, you know, it seems so much easier. But then once I was there, I, you know, was thinking, oh, I wish I was back, you know, I wish things could be the way they used to be and I could train with Kim and Betty and, you know, have the same arrangement that I had before. So I wanted, you know, more of a relaxed atmosphere, I thought, but I also wanted really intense training, and it's hard to have both.
So as you might guess, there's been a lot of evaluation and speculation and even some rumor about all of these changes that KERRI has made. Well, look at her today. She's on her way to maybe grabbing a very big title, and she's poised right for where she wants to be in August and July, and that is in Atlanta. And John, that little girl in her told me that she wants to get done with today and go to the movies tomorrow.
Thank you, Beth. Two parts of that piece that stuck with me. One was when she said, I'm 18, I'm not 14 anymore. And the other was the pain that she endured when she sprained her back in that beat. Well, listen to this crowd.
John, there was a third in my mind, and it was the word prepared. KERRI has found her way back to Karolyi's, and she is convinced that Bella and Marta are the only ones that can make her feel absolutely confident in every competition.
A reminder that she is our current leader, chased by Svetlana Boginskaya, Olympic champion, also by KRISTY Powell.
Here comes her first big coming line. Solid. What has been so clear in all the practice sessions, in the preliminaries, is her confidence. There is absolutely no question in KERRI's mind that she's going to stick this beam routine.
Is a position she is been really unaccustomed to. A lot of stars in USA Gymnastics. But as we said, this is her opportunity right here. Just the dismount. She's been right on.
She's up there.
Stein!
Great job.
All right. Oh my God. That was a big routine. Hey, that was a big routine.
That is the beam competitor.
And boy,
the
when
beam
you are the leader of the American Cup and you get through an entire balance beam routine without falling, it is a gigantic relief.
That is the piece of apparatus that eats more gold medals than any of them. We've seen it do it to Kim Zemeskel. We've seen it all the way down the line.
She is so relieved. We're seeing a few more smiles from KERRI at this competition.
Very good. All right. Take on you something. Put something on you now.
You know, Bella never makes those kind of faces, but I think he's thinking the same thing.
Let's take you back to last night because
well, come back.
The story is
or
that
you go over there.
KRISTY Powell, of course,
no, you stay
was
here.
on the beam, and I just
maybe
said,
you just come back here, okay? Take this number.
She was doing very, very well, and all of a sudden she just lost it, and it didn't fall off the beam, but it reminded me so much of what happened to Zemeskel in the Olympics.
Well, it came very close to that, actually, for her almost falling off, but she did struggle to stand.
24-year-old JAIR Lynch.
And this is a great event for JAIR Lynch. If I had to pick right now a place where the U.S. men's team would medal in Atlanta, this would be one of the places. He's fantastic here.
I don't think the other gymnast would mind me saying that he qualifies as the smartest gymnast here. Graduated from 1994 with a BS in civil engineering and a BA in urban design.
And watch this combination. Right into a giant double back somersault. Very nicely done. That is bad news, disaster. 0.5 of a point, you fall off. He does some of the most difficult skills in gymnastics.
Look at him looking at his hand there. When we interviewed him yesterday, he had an injury that looked like somebody had drilled a hole the size of a dime into his palm. It was a blister that had torn off.
Yeah, and this event parallel is the worst for that. Right there, a lot of pressure on it. But look at this, it's perfect. Nobody does it any better than that. Actually hits the bar a little bit, though, and is just enough to put his body off balance enough. 0.5 of a point, that opens the door dramatically, obviously, for John Roethlisberger.
Ladies and gentlemen, JAIR works for Silicon Graphics Company.
Let's go down to Beth Fluriak now on the gym floor.
John, I was just speaking to Tom Forrester, who was telling me that KRISTY is so mentally strong coming into today that he could tell between the two vaults that she was going to land that second one as well as she did. That it's a different situation for them being so much in the spotlight of this week, but that they've been able to keep it a bit at bay, focus on her, and they are so proud of her.
Thank you, Beth. Where KERRI STRUG just was, that's where KRISTY Powell is right now, and will be added incentive to being the defending champion.
John, you talk about the two coaching philosophies. KERRI STRUG came into this competition knowing she could hit these skills. Well, KRISTY, on the other hand, has a brand new balance beam routine. This is only the second time that she's about to perform her first tumbling move coming up. Her coach said she needs the experience. She needs numbers at this point in time. Here it is.
Oh, that's great. Very, very unique combination. Elf, I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that before.
Well, Lilia Pakapayeva, the world champion, actually performed that skill a little different, with a different technique, but KRISTY said she wanted to use that same difficulty. Thought it would beef up this routine. Now remember, in the preliminary competition, she was so strong, moving so confidently, but there was one skill that gave her a bit of a problem. Not this one.
Remember, she wasn't even supposed to be in this event last year. She was a last-minute replacement, and then ended up winning it. I know also that in Houston, Texas, at this moment, Dominique Oceanu is watching this performance. She is injured. We'll be talking with her live momentarily.
Slight step forward.
KRISTY Powell, Lori and Tom Forrester. There's a live shot. Hi, Dominique.
Hi.
There's a live shot of Dominique Oceanu. And we will be back a little bit later on with a live interview with her. What did you think, Dominique? Can we go back to it for just a second? Dominique, what did you think?
It was a good performance. Everybody's going well right now, and I'm, you know, just watching it from here and wishing everybody good luck.
Are you getting the jitters, wishing you were here? Are you feeling it?
Yeah, I do. You know, I have that feeling that I wish I was there and stuff, but it'll happen next time. I'd rather be healthy right now and then come out good and go to Classic and Nationals. So.
Okay, well, we'll check back with you in a few moments. Keep watching as KRISTY Powell and her coaches watch her scores in JAIR LYNCH at 9.025, which is obviously a low score on parallel bar. Just a problem.
Yeah, that was bad news for JAIR, no doubt about it, especially on a great event like that for him.
We're waiting for KRISTY Powell's score. Stay with us. That's coming up next. Champion KRISTY Powell. But we all thought last night there was a chance that she might not be in it. Watch this. Struggling to hold on and is able to make it. But today, the same move and a much different story. She needed a 9.838 to take the lead thus far, and her score is a 9.675, so I believe that puts her in second place. But still a tremendous routine. It's certainly a great routine compared to what happened.
Well, it was a great comeback, John. She really had to focus in, and especially with it being a new routine, that's the added pressure. But she really did beautifully.
It's time to see some more of the men
from Romania,
with ROETHLISBERGER and JAIR and LYNCH.
DOBRESCU.
We just had a tough time on the parallel bars. We have some very, very strong men, but Alexandra DOBRESCU, who was in 7th place first, will perform on the beam.
Remember, the Romanians are the team to beat. They're heading into Atlanta as the team to watch for. She's hoping to make that team. This is an event, a traditional event that the Romanians have been so strong on. Getting set for the first tumbling pass. 2 layups in a row. A common element we're seeing at this level of competition. John, Alexandra's going to benefit from this competition. She's got a tough trials ahead of her to make this Romanian squad. Many of the current team members have already competed in numerous world championships, have been over to the United States. Her teammate, Alexandra Marinescu, is Romania's answer to Dominique Moceanu. She won the Atlanta test event last November.
For those of you who are wondering, we do practice these names in our sleep. Boy, and I'll tell you, at 4'6" and 75 pounds, it's a lot easier for her to get around than it is for somebody like Svetlana Boginska.
This is a great exercise on balance beam. As John, you've been saying already, at this point in time, we usually would see a fall, but the performances have been great.
Keep in mind, these are the Olympic routines that you are.
Doesn't get any better than that.
As a whole, the Romanians, they are the toughest competitors out there in gymnastics floor as a whole.
He's like trying not to be excited.
He's saying, I started all this.
I think, by the way, look at that. He's got a Romanian on his right.
That's great to see.
And an American on his left. Wow. Bella always prowling. He has, of course, brought us Nadia, as we mentioned, Mary Lou, today, Svetlana and KERRI.
I know, I don't worry
but
about
there
it.
is one very important gymnast missing, and you saw her just a few moments ago. Her name is Dominique.
Oh, look at that.
She is today the heart of American gymnastics.
All the way. Okay? Now, a little bit more this way. Alex, yes, perfect. And then if you can go. And
Dominique Moceanu, at 14 years old, the national champion. A tiny body, shouldering America's heaviest Olympic hopes. Blossoming under the steady gaze of the man who has mined gold for 2 decades, Bella Karolyi. The same artistic hand that molded Nadia Comaneci and Mary Lou Retton.
Good. Fantastic.
Through my coaching career, I had the greatest moments with Mary Lou, no doubt about that. But exactly because she had these sex appeal which came out through her performance. She brought the audience on the floor. She came out and performed for everybody. And of course, the biggest person, the ones who enjoyed the performance was herself. And that's the same with Dominique. She has the same type of attitude, the same type of performance.
The ebullience, the outrageous praise of that kind is double-edged. It can inspire, lift you to new heights.
Arms!
Good! Or it can feed the flame under a pressure cooker that is ultimately just too overwhelming.
You won it, Bobby. You won it. Congratulations.
2 days ago, Dominique Moceanu made a brief appearance here to announce she would not compete due to injury, thus skipping what has always been the coming out party in an Olympic year. And it is our pleasure to hook you up live with Dominique Mocianu, the 14-year-old who is in the gym, it looks like, in Houston, Texas. Dominique, thanks so much for being with us. I want to first get to what the injury is all about. What's happened?
Well, it's in my heel. It's just the growth plates. You know, I'm growing right now, and it's just from a lot of pounding on it, and it's getting better. So I'm looking forward to competing, you know, at American Classic.
Now, how does that decision get made? Is that something that you make with Bella as to how important this particular meet is?
Yeah, Bella and I made the competitions. I've been doing routines until, you know, just a couple of days before the meet, and we had to take all the hard mats out and start landing on the hard surfaces. And then it's just started, you know, to hurt too much. And Bella said, well, you know, let's not do this. You know, this was a good meet and stuff. But, you know, he said, we'd rather save you, you know, and get your heel better and be healthy before you hurt yourself even more. So Bella and I both decided that it was better if I didn't go.
As you sit there in the gym watching this broadcast live, how much do you want to be here and not there? I'm sure it's an obvious question, but I want to hear it come out of your mouth.
Oh, I wish I was there. You know, I love to compete and have fun out there, and it's just, you know, seeing everybody out there, I just want to jump into the TV and just go out there and perform, you know. It's just really great, and I wish I was there, you know, but there's going to be other times, you know, and I'm looking forward to it, and just, you know, excited for the upcoming events.
We're obviously, one of those upcoming events is obviously 4.5 months from right now, and that is, of course, the Olympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia. And one of the things that we've seen happen in the last, I guess, 6 months or so, maybe even longer than that, is the fact that you have TV reporters, magazines, TV shows, everything asking you to be on and hounding you. In fact, we saw earlier in that piece that Annie Leibovitz was doing a photo session with you, which of course, in the entertainment world means that you have, in fact, arrived. But we saw a lot of this happening 4 years ago to Kim Zmeskal, and we knew then that it was a lot of pressure on her, and ultimately she succumbed to that. I know you train with her. Has she had any words of wisdom for you?
She's just, you know, just told me a couple times about her experiences, and, you know, she's told me that, you know, don't worry about it. You know, Bella's here to support you, and, you know, you just have to do your routines like you do them, and, you know, don't worry about anything else. And, you know, she's just, you know, always there, and, you know, give her a call sometimes, and she helps me out. So she's a really good friend.
We're going to get back to the competition, but very quickly, one last question. The obvious comparisons to you, to Nadia, and you are, of course, of Romanian descent. How do you like those comparisons? Are you the new Nadia?
I think the comparisons are good, you know, in some ways and stuff. I like being compared to Nadia. She's one of the greatest gymnasts, you know, that was in gymnastics. And I think that I'm my own person, too. And I just want to show everybody my own personality and my new style, because I'm Dominique and I'm a different person. And I want to show everybody what I can do and, you know, remember me like they remember Nadia. So.
Boy, it sounds like you're coached by Bella Caroli.
Thank
you very much, Dominique. Thanks so much for spending time with us, and we look forward to seeing you in Atlanta.
All right, thanks a lot.
Right.
John, I wonder if she has ever been in the gym and not working out before.
Yeah. Now we go back to Dobrescu's score of 9.687 as we await our men's leader. We don't want to neglect the men, and that's something actually that ROETHLISBERGER has been very outspoken about. He has said that women's gymnastics gets much more attention than the men's does, but he and JAIR Lynch right now are proving that the men do need to be on television more and certainly need to be respected.
John getting ready for parallel bars here. I don't want to jinx John at all, but he was in the hunt for an American Cup a couple years ago, and this was the event that brought him down. Last year, obviously able to deal with the pressure. He's 2 routines away from repeating.
He is coached by his dad, Fred ROETHLISBERGER, and has never been really coached by anybody else for any period of time. He told me yesterday that in the gym, it's Fred to his dad, but at home he had better call him Dad.
Says Fred taught him how to work hard from a very young age. John's doing a good routine so far, just the dismount. Big step on the line, but he'll take that one.
He wants to continue past Atlanta.
Way to go, John.
4 World Championships. And of course, 1992 Olympic Games. There's his dad.
So in 29 years.
A few years ago, John started doing this dismount. I'd never seen it before. A little bit unorthodox. They'll go off the side of the bars, going forwards, and then start flipping backwards. A little bit crooked in the air, and that typically makes John take that step forward.
So he will wait for his score. He feels that it's a big advantage to be the veteran here. As we switch you over to Oksana Chusovitina, who needs a 9.98 to take the lead.
It's a fairly hefty score, John. What you'll see from this routine is a traditional style, very much like her uneven bars routine. These are skills that were performed in the 70s, and she in fact did this routine in 1992, but she does it with such power and ease. There's a skill, as I mentioned, back in 1970. Here's a big-time skill.
Like KERRI STRUG, the American, she has struggled looking for places to train. She has trained in France, Switzerland, and of all places, Portland, Oregon.
I think Oksana goes for the audience reaction with all her routines. Obviously, she's more noted for her vaulting and her tumbling exercise, but she likes to hear the oohs and ahs. Skills like this, solid.
Just a moment.
Great combination. She performed that in 92. Still makes it look easy.
I can't say enough that this piece of apparatus is 4 feet high and only 4 inches wide.
The key is making it work for you. She's looking good. Of course, her strength in this routine are the tumbling skills, including the dismount. She makes this look too easy. She could probably throw a much more difficult dismount than she did the other night. Look at that. Just a walk in the park.
Oksana Chusovitina, 20 years old from Uzbekistan. Again, she is the former teammate of Svetlana Bobinskaya.
John, she has come such a long way over the past couple of years. Look at this dismount. It is way too easy for her, and I'm sure by Atlanta, she'll throw in a full twist.
What did I say? She did a 9.98. You said that's impossible, right?
It's high. It's high.
It's too short. Too short.
Well, it doesn't matter who you
Love them all.
compete for. Bela's just got everybody in his arms.
He's the ambassador.
John Roethlisberger is thinking it over.
Yeah.
9.625 on parallel bars. Don't go away. We'll be right back after these words from the local station. Stay with us. Welcome back. We are live. John Tesh with Elder Schlegel and Tim Daggett. McDonald's American Cup Gymnastics Championships. We were looking at Romanian Adrian DOBRESCU, member of the bronze medal team in Japan. And when we were interviewing him, Tim, the other day, he's one of the biggest gymnasts I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He actually has to spot him at times, and I'm sure when he's falling off the high bar, the coach isn't too happy. He said that being a part of that bronze medal winning team in Japan was like a dream. He couldn't believe it was actually happening to him.
Most of the time in these events, certainly in the international events, everyone is talking about the Romanian women's team. And he told us through a translator that he is finally, they are finally getting some respect after that bronze medal Worlds performance.
That's for sure.
But this is the piece of apparatus that is giving a lot of the men trouble.
It's a tricky event. He'll start out with very critical timing elements. Everything needs to land in a handstand like that.
This is actually his first time in the United States, and we asked him if he was going to go out and get some hot sauce since we're in Fort Worth, and he said, no, thank you.
To be honest, John, he looks a little bit tired to me today. looked a lot better the other day. Just a little bit sluggish, you see.
Big cowboy.
Yeah, he straddles his legs in the air.
That's the same thing that happened to Roethlisberger, isn't it?
A little bit, but his was more because he doesn't quite have the power he needs to get it all the way around, straddles his legs, takes a big step on the landing.
And we will wait for his score, but the big story, as it is many times in the world of gymnastics, concerns this young lady, Svetlana Boginskaya, who is awaiting her performance, the go-ahead of her performance on the balance beam. She is currently in 4th place. She has climbed out of that position before, and suddenly finds herself a favorite here in the American Cup.
And starting off very strongly. You know, John, you mentioned with Dobrescu from Romania that she may have an easier time performing on the balance beam because she's so tiny. Well, with this young lady, she makes it look so easy. It's her experience, skills like this, that she has done over and over again. It's like she's an extension of the balance beam.
Like KERRI STRUG, like Dominique Marciano, she is trained by Bella Caroli, and she urged him out of retirement to come help her. He said that when he first met her, before he was coaching her, he thought she was arrogant and nasty. In fact, there was that controversy where she was accused of not shaking American Kim Zalesky's hand on the medal stand.
Yes. Step. Yes.
Slight balance break, not a severe deduction.
Sometimes the moves on balance beam that look the easiest are actually the most difficult. That double turn, very, very difficult.
And a dismount now. Okay. Stand up. Stand up.
Just the dismount.
Stay! Yeah! All right. That was a good one. All right.
She told us the story that when she was a kid in gymnastics, her mom could not afford to buy her dresses for school, so she had to wear the dresses of the older girls. And now she is buying her parents places to stay.
Okay. Incredible story. You know, John, one thing she does so well is she pays attention to small details, things that the younger athletes are still trying to master. The dismount, incredible. Still has what it takes. Double summy off the beam, very common move. Look at that smile.
Now Bella's reaction, the replay. I'll tell you, if Bella's feet were just a little bit shorter, he'd be great on the beam himself. He's got all the moves. So we will wait for her score. Let's take you back now and give you another look at Svetlana, the woman they call the Belarusian Swan, and a woman who is really in the middle of a terrific comeback. It's amazing what the press has done with her this week, saying, as I mentioned before, she evolves from a bully to a sweetheart, saying she has made the transition from communist to sweetheart. And this really is the same person that we have seen back in 1992 at the Olympic Games. There is more gymnastics to come up. We are not through yet. Svetlana Boginskaya's score on balance beam, a 9.737, Alfie. And the standings for the women so far here in the American Cup, they look like this. KERRI STRUG still up top with the other American, KRISTY Powell, in 2nd place. Chusovitna in 3rd, and Boginskaya still stays in 4th place.
She's in the hunt, no question about it. No mistakes on balance beam. That's the event that it typically happens on, but it's all down to the last event.
And for the men, Roethlisberger in 1st, and JAIR LYNCH hanging in there in 2nd, even after Tim Daggett, that's poor performance for him anyway on the parallel bars.
Well, for John Roethlisberger, it's going to take a miss for him to not repeat here at the American Cup. But you know, the women's competition, it is not over. This is Tom Forrester, and his athlete, KRISTY Powell, is certainly not out of the hunt. If I had to pick one event where she was strongest, it would be floor exercise. Anything can still happen.
There's KRISTY Powell with her coach, Tom Forrester. They have really been through it, these two, and the defending champion looks like she's got a big chance today. He had a novel idea. Treat gymnasts positively. What kind of athlete would emerge from this program? What about KRISTY Powell? She was a replacement at last year's American Cup. But 15-year-old KRISTY said, "This title is mine."
That's the way it's supposed to be done.
And what about the wanderer, KERRI STRUG? She spent 6 months with the Forsters, even lived in their home. But even Forster couldn't keep KERRI STRUG from hitting the road again. And this time, back to Texas.
Well, one thing we knew when KERRI came is that she certainly displayed the ability to leave.
And leave she did. KERRI returning to the man she believed could take her to her second Olympics, the legendary Bela Karolyi. But where does that leave Forster and his belief in his positive approach? Well, nothing could have been more heartbreaking than this. Donnie Thompson walked into Forster's gym when she was only 7. She would pray each night that she would make it to the Olympic Games. A world team member, national balance beam champion. These days, you can find Donnie Thompson in the pool, club diving. She will watch the Olympics on TV.
It was just time to move on, and I was ready to try something new. Olympics, yeah, that's a great achievement, and wow, I mean, somebody who's gone to Olympics, I mean, it's a really great role model. But, you know, you still have your whole life, and Worlds and Olympics are, I mean, it's the same competition, it's just named something else, because you compete against the whole world and everything, and it was a little shocking at first, but now it's okay.
Donnie existed as Forster's first real shot at coaching an Olympian. When she walked out of his gym, so did part of his Olympic dream.
It's hard that your hopes and dreams as a coach rely on these little teenagers. I mean, that's, so as an adult, you better keep it all in perspective.
Nervous laughter? It may well be. So here and now is the one hope that Tom Forster has left. A teenager. Her name? KRISTY Powell. Last night, this mistake sounded an alarm that the defense of KRISTY's title here might be harder than she thought. And where does that leave this nice guy from Colorado?
She does. It's got to be 1.2 better.
Back live, Tom Forster. And he really does have a tremendous gymnastics program. As we take a look at KRISTY Powell, you see her, she is currently in second place, and this is where she could take it.
John, not only the added pressure of trying to defend the title, this is a brand new routine. Not going to happen today.
Oh.
This is disastrous.
We are talking so much about the balance beam, all the pressure there, and this happens.
It looks like she was trying to be just a little bit too perfect, actually.
Champion, but the last female to defend the American Cup title was KRISTY Phillips way back in 1987.
And you know, John, those two errors, putting her hands down, that not only pretty much negates her chances of repeating here at the American Cup, but that opens up the door for Chusevitna and Boginskaya to move into second place.
She is obviously not happy with that as she talks it over with the coaches. The judges working out her score. Take a break. We'll be right back to that. John Tesh with Elfie Schlegel and Tim Daggett back here live at McDonald's American Cup in Fort Worth, Texas. And we are still waiting for KRISTY Powell's score, and she is not making her hand out.
John, not to make excuses, but I did see her with extreme shin splints earlier before the competition even began. She was icing her shins and said that they were a little bit sore today, but it certainly didn't help her tumbling. She was struggling throughout the exercise. You know, it was just really incredible to see 2 falls from this very experienced athlete.
Well, like I said earlier, though, this is a great event for her. She, a lot of times, has too much power. But today, putting her hands down on backward rotating skills, that means you don't have enough rotation, and that's very unusual for KRISTY Powell.
What is disappointing as well is the fact that she, prior to that floor exercise routine, stood in second place to KERRI STRUG. And this will, I would say, hopefully likely knock her back down there.
Oh, it's going to knock her right out.
It's all right.
Very disappointing, a new exercise. She was really hoping for the best. The music is well suited to her personality and her style. But of course, the tumbling is 50%.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, USA Gymnastics would like to announce the debut of our new website. We have lots of available online, including biographies of your favorite athletes, frequently updated results, and news of upcoming events.
That could knock her way down to 4th place.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, back to the
exercise
exercise. Our next competitor
is Sangla. She is in 6th place prior to this exercise.
With this exercise, you are in for a real treat. Not only will you walk away wanting to see more, but you'll wonder just how does she do this tumbling.
If she doesn't have much chance to win this thing or no chance to win this thing, that was brilliant.
It was a lot of fun. It put a smile on my face. She did step out of bounds, however, so it'll be a small deduction, but great tumbling, good choice of music.
As I mentioned earlier, they were 4th in Barcelona, their team, and then 4th again at the Worlds in '94 and 2nd in the Worlds in '95. A real force to watch. This is a force to watch right here. We haven't seen him yet. Valeri Balinki from Germany, and he used to compete for the Soviet Union.
That's right. He was a member of the unified team that won the gold medal in 1992. He is definitely a veteran. Has struggled a little bit today, and golly, I think I jinxed him a little bit. Got to get his composure back because he's got 3 releases in a row right here, right on his fingertips. Okay, back on track. Every time he seems to be putting it back together at the American Cup, he falters just a little bit. And it's so unusual because he is such a quality gymnast. But watch this dismount. 2 flips, 2 twists, and just the step forward.
Valeri Balinki, 1992 Olympic champion. And the judges will think it over. We'll wait for his score. More from the American Cup in Fort Worth in a moment. Valerie Belenki's score on the high bar, a 9-3 to the Daggett.
Yeah, really not a great day for Valerie Belenki. He's going to want to kind of scratch this one up to experience and probably move on.
He has had a lot of experience, as has our defending champion, John Roethlisberger.
Our next competitor on the men's horizontal.
One routine away and a couple of release moves from his second American Cup victory. If I had to pick an event where John is a standout, it's this one.
The reason being that he's the 1995 national champion on high bar. It is his event, isn't it?
It certainly is. Very tricky mount. And grasping the hand has given him some problems in the past. On this pirouette, comes right here, spin all the way around. Little bit of a problem there. See if he can get back on track. He's got a release combination.
Come on, one more.
One more time.
That's it.
Very nicely done.
We got it. Come on. Over the top.
Just the dismount. Over the bar.
That's the one. Two in a row, bud.
They've been together since he was born. John Roethlisberger and his dad, Fred Roethlisberger. And it doesn't get any better than that.
It's Ivan Tusek.
Well, John's always given me a hard time, John, saying that I'm always saying he's a working class gymnast and he's not very flashy. Well, here's a little bit of flash. Way up in the air. Does a couple
We
sets
just want to
of
say hi to
release
guys
combinations.
in Mel's Midtowner.
Not only is this high-flying stuff, but it's also very highly valued in the code of points. So it's a great routine for John Roethlisberger.
Here we go. Don't go for gymnastics, #1.
Yeah.
Everybody at home. Kelly, hey Mom. Hey Marie.
He's dissing
Josh,
me.
Connie.
I know it.
Miss you guys.
I had the opportunity to work with John over in Japan. Great guy.
9.787.
Well, that does it for John Roethlisberger. 2 times in a row, American Cup champion.
What an amazing way
That
to
was
put it
nice. You know, you can do what you need to do.
We've seen these two
everybody
guys.
at Mel's Midtowner.
I've never seen him talking so much. John, I'm making a word of edgewise here.
Well, you know, the thing that I really liked about the exercise is he was under a tremendous amount of pressure, first of all, to repeat here, going into the last event. And he has a bit of a problem right off the bat. As I mentioned, when he was rolling his hand to grab the ball, he fumbled a little bit. And a lot of other people, that would have been enough to really mess the entire routine up. But he gets back on track, and he does a great routine.
This is a guy who started going to the gym when he was about 3 years old. He would go to work with his dad, who again coaches at the University of Minnesota. Another brilliant performance, another brilliant year for John Roethlisberger, which sets him up perfectly, Tim, for Atlanta.
It certainly does. He, of course, from a very gymnastic family. His father was an Olympian himself. His sister, Marie, was an alternate on the Olympic team in 1984. And John really wants to go back, and he really wants to have an impact this time.
7-8-7. Next competitor on Georgia, Ilya
Ragazzi is the way I'm pronouncing it.
Yeah, I think he's from Atlanta, right, John?
He is actually from Georgia, but not the Georgia that's in the United States.
He was the only competitor from Georgia at the last World Championships in Japan.
Since the breakup of the Soviet Union, have you seen a difference in the way these athletes train?
Well, yeah, most definitely. You see little bits of form breaks here and there, and maybe not the same level of intensity.
Because they're not all training together?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the training together also. It's just maybe the priorities have shifted a little bit. Here comes the dismount. Another double twisting double. Oh, that Beautiful. Double twisting, double somersault. Nothing like that. Stick it cold. Gymnastics 101.
And things have certainly changed on the high bar since you won this thing back in 1985. While the women are warming up on the floor exercise,
Score for the floor exercise was a 9.712.
I'm gonna need their knees.
STRUG to beat Northern Sky to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again a reminder to stay with us at the conclusion of this afternoon.
Thanks a lot, appreciate it. You're having a hard time saying Fort Worth. How'd you like to?
96 McDonald's American Cup champions. And we've got
You're having a hard time saying Fort Worth, Texas? Try Oksana Chusovitna, who is next on the floor exercise. And guys, it has come down to the floor. There's Oksana there, and it will be her performance, followed by Svetlana Boginskaya's performance, followed by KERRI STRUG. And we have already crowned unofficially the defending champion, John Roethlisberger, as this year's champion for the men. Let's go right down now to Beth Ruriak. Beth, you got it.
John, I talked to Oksana's coach who said, you know, they really have no money. The federation paid for them to come over here. So prize money today is really important to them. She's excited because her athlete loves the floor routine, looking forward to a good routine. And about that beam routine that Elfie was raving about, her coach said it was normal. It was normal.
East normal.
Yeah. Well, this is the routine that we have been waiting for all day long, and every gymnast in the arena is going to be watching her because this is a gymnast kind of routine. She's super powerful, as Elfie has mentioned before, and she is a born tumbler.
And you know, Tim, she's going to give you a lesson on how you too can tumble as high as the rafters.
She is third entering this, the last rotation.
Tim, you said it, born to tumble. She has so much power. I don't think she knows what to do with it. We might see the first gymnast to perform 6 tumbling passes in Atlanta, but you know, the first 2 were tumbling skills that she performed back in 1992, and they're still awesome. She still performs them with height, power. We're in absolute awe, and she makes it look way too easy.
I mean, this tumbling pass right here, this is so difficult. She's doing a double laid out somersault with a full twist. Just to do a double layout is tremendously difficult. She does it with a full twist, and then she comes back and does another one in the tuck position without grabbing her legs. This is so hard. You just sit up in the stands, and I want to get down there and go out on the floor, but I realized I'd look very foolish.
She put some of the guys to shame.
She sure does. The floor exercise mat is 40 by 40, and there are some springs in there, but you still got to have it in your right.
Yeah, she's got a lot of those springs all on her own, let me assure you.
And more importantly, she beefed up the difficulty for today's competition. She didn't do that same skill in the first tumbling pass in yesterday's prelims.
A great opportunity here, the American Cup, to get a look at what the Olympic routines will look like 4.5 months hence.
You know, sorry, John, Chusavitino was in the shadow of her team back in '92. We didn't really know her name. We knew she was powerful, but she certainly didn't stand out. And now, probably one of the benefits of competing for Uzbekistan is she is the top athlete from that country.
Nervously, anxiously awaiting her score. This has got to be the toughest time for a gymnast.
Well, it's the only time you're really totally out of control. When she's on the floor or on the bars, it's all her. She can control her destiny, but now she's at the whim of a lot of judges.
There's her score there, Tim. 95.87.
From Spain, Joanna.
Coming up a bit later on is going to be Svetlana Boginskaya, her former teammate. But right now, Johanna Juarez from the home of the 1992 games, Barcelona. Which was a good exercise. But as we get back into the top level of the competition, as far as the standings go, there's what Bogey needs to take the lead. 9.599.
But our leader yet to go as well.
We'll be back with more gymnastics after these words from your local station.
Better just stay with you.
Back live, you're looking at our current leader, KERRI STRUG, with one last performance to go that could likely decide who the champion here is in Fort Worth, Texas.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, our
But
next
first, we have to get to Svetlana Boginskaya. Remember that Boginskaya and STRUG are now coached by the same man. Olympic gold medalist in Barcelona.
Go, go, go! Out! Yeah! Right. Strong. Follow. Stay hollow. Yes. That's Sveta. Stay long.
stepped off the mat.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of these two women. A hug for KERRI. Who's up next?
That was good.
Bogey did tremendously.
Well, there was absolutely no way she was going to make the same mistake twice. That was a great routine. You could really see her concentrating on every single landing, Tim.
The screams right now are for KERRI, who is still warming up. As the judges will decide Loginskaya's fate, she needs a 9.599 with KERRI still to go. In second place, JAIR LYNCH. If he gets a 9.538. Roethlisberger, John Roethlisberger has really, because of the computer, been crowned a two-time American Cup champion.
Remember, JAIR was in the hunt until his last event, parallel bars. This is a tricky one as well. He missed a couple of release moves just in the one-touch warm-up. This one right here. Right on his fingertip. Two more right in a row. Beautiful. Flyway half twist. This is really neat. Supposed to do a very difficult dismount. 1.5 twist. Nope. Just a layout. But a very good routine from JAIR LYNCH.
Had a rough time on the parallel bars. Now, do you think he pulled out of the dismount there at the end?
Well, what it means, John, is actually only 1/10 of a point, and what he knew was he couldn't win the competition. He knew that if he just got through his exercise without that mistake, then he would maintain his second place position.
Smart move. Smart move. As I mentioned, he graduated from Stanford, now works part-time at a computer system company. So he is really just a part-time gymnast. And it's amazing what he's been able to accomplish here. A 9.650. So KERRI STRUG has a chance to win it all, but she has to do it on floor exercise, and she's the only one that can do it. Look at that.
About a minute and a half.
Okay.
JAIR LYNCH on horizontal bar. Today's attendance is 7,902.
We are live in Fort Worth, Texas. John Tesh with Opie Schlegel and Tim Daggett, and this is the lady of the hour, 18-year-old KERRI STRUG. She has a chance. It is within her grasp to win the American Cup Championship. There's Dominique Luciano, live via satellite in Houston, Texas, watching on TV, who was supposed to be the odds-on favorite here, and certainly will be in Atlanta, as we all watch KERRI STRUG.
Keep that. Yes. Yes. All right. Slow. Follow. Follow. Yes. One more to go. One more. One more to go. Good. Stay long.
Just heard Bella.
Stay long.
The coach say 1 more to go.
Stay. Stay hollow. Pull on. Oh, go! Now that was something else. Oh my God. That was okay. Go in there.
18-year-old KERRI STRUG has likely claimed this event.
She went back to Bella, so she was via the competition.
No, that was great.
His mind is shaped very right now.
I mean,
Let's go down to
they're like a stone now.
We're going to talk to KERRI here in a second,
Like
but
a
I don't know who
steel.
jumped higher,
Stay
Marta
over
or
there.
Bella on that one. And the smile for KERRI sure went all the way across.
No, that's what I was waiting for you for so long time. Good. Good job.
KERRI, this one was yours to grab. Did you walk yourself through it before today?
Well, I was real excited about yesterday's competition, and it gave me a lot of confidence for today. And I was just hoping to do the same job, which I did.
Talk me through that first moment out there in this final pressure situation, and you knew you had to do this, what's a new routine for you?
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous since it's a new routine, but I've trained it so many times, you know, I knew I could do it, so just tell myself just to do it like practice.
Are you happy with the routine? Will you keep this one through to the Olympics?
I'm happy with it right now. I'm not sure that's up to Bella and Marta and Geza Posa, our choreography, if I'll keep it.
Think life changes now that you've got this big title that you wanted for so long?
Well, it's just a really good confidence booster for me going into this year, and I'm glad that I started it out right.
Can I see that big smile one more time?
Thank you, Beth. KERRI STRUG, always the bridesmaid, always in the shadow of Americans Kim Zmeskal, Shannon Miller, and Dominique Moceanu. And here he is, a replay of the architect, hugging anybody who's there. Look out, Bella Caroli is on the prowl, and he is a winner. We'll be back. We're back at the McDonald's American Cup, and if you're going to do it live, guys, you might as well do it this way. It was an amazing competition. Defending champion John Roethlisberger for the men did it again this year, followed up by a great performance by JAIR LYNCH. For the women, well, you saw it happen a few moments ago. KERRI STRUG with her first American Cup championships, followed by Svetlana Boginskaya, Oksana Chusovitina, DOBRESCU, and KRISTY POWELL in 8th place. Let's go down to Beth Ruriak now on the gym floor.
John, the coaching doesn't stop. A moment here, you're telling him to smile, he's telling you to smile. How was this day for you today, Svetlana?
Well, actually, it went great, you know. I did almost good, you know. I expected to do a little bit better, probably, you know. I was a little bit tired from yesterday, and I had too much excitement yesterday, so I was a little bit tired, but, you know, it's first step, like Bella said, and I better be happy.
Bella, this is the athlete you probably thought you would never coach in your career, and here she is. So what were your feelings today, different from any time before?
It is a great athlete. It's a joy to see her out on the floor. It's a pride of the gymnastic community to see such an incredible athlete like Svetlana coming on the 23-year old being and performing on this incredible level. And it's just the first step. You're going to see Svetlana from now on going very strongly, very sturdily toward her dream to be successful in '96 Atlanta Olympic Games.
I was watching your brow, and it seemed like you were sweating every step of the way with her today. Was there some tension in the middle of the meet?
Well, it was tension. Tension is always in the meet. Today, of course, she was a little more tired than yesterday. Started out a little slower, but just as in all the great athletes, she pulled out greatly with the confidence and the greatness. That's the experience, that's the maturity, and that's what the sport really needed at this time.
You're nodding. Big victory.
Yeah.
There is somebody watching both of you. Her name is Dominique. And if you'd like to look that way and say hello to her.
Domi, what do you think about this? I know you're proud. We are proud. See you home.
Do you want to say hello?
It was a great competition.
Hi, Dominique. I really wish you could be here with us and enjoy us in this competition, but probably we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
She's trying to talk back to you. She's sending you her good wishes.
Congratulations.
Welcome back to Fort Worth, Texas. This has been a tremendous afternoon for all of us, and really a good warm-up, I think, as an announcing team for getting prepared for Atlanta. First to you, Elfie, what did you think of the comeback of Svetlana Boginskaya?
Well, I think Svetlana, though, years ago, as Tim had mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we never really expected her to come back. Everybody's saying she's too old, 23. I mean, does she still have what it takes? But what I see is a lot of the younger athletes still learning from this athlete. She has so much to give. It's the experience. Obviously, she's still in the hunt. I don't know about a gold medal all-around victory in Atlanta, but I'll tell you something. She's going to give it her best shot.
And what about the other lady who was coached today by Bella Caroli, Tim Daggett, KERRI STRUG?
Well, you know, we said it at the top of the show. She's always felt like she's been in the shadow, but today she got her chance. And the key to a great athlete is when you get the opportunity that you capitalize. You go out there and you grab it, and she did that. You know, in the past, one of the problems that KERRI has had is that sometimes in this situation, she's a little bit too powerful, too energetic. She was able to control that energy, and because of that, she's the American Cup champion.
Let's hope she doesn't have any nerves in Atlanta. She has been plagued by that in the past.
She certainly has, but you know, I think that all of these athletes leading up to Atlanta, they're going to have a tremendous amount of pressure just making that team. So if they can make it through the trials, procedures, and they get on that team, I think they'll be prepared.
It was nice to see Bogie smile, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Great smile.
Well, thank you all so much for being with us. For Elfie Schlegel, Tim Daggett, and Beth Roriak, I'm John Tesh, live from Fort Worth, Texas. We will see you next time.